What's up, gang? Welcome back to the Mind Over Mike podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. I've got another special treat lined up for this one. I've got one of my absolute favorite humans. My guest today is a long-term friend of mine. We met when I first started comedy, and he has been so influential and so important to me growing as a comic. More than that, he's been just supportive and so kind to me over the years. He even took me to some of my first open mics in other cities. I mean, we're really tight, and I think that shows through this interview, mostly because I feel completely comfortable rambling forever and talking about nonsense with him. So you'll have to excuse me, I get a little carried away on some of the questions. But all in all, I think this was a very fun episode. I think we got into kind of a little behind the curtain about his life and his family. He has a very unique upbringing and a very unique family now, so that's super fun to get into. We also just talk about comedy, about the state of our local scene, about other cities, about the balance between comedy and business, doing what you love for a living, and all sorts of stuff that he and I always wind up getting into. So this is a really fun one. Before I jump into the episode, I just want to plug a couple of quick dates. Coming up on this Saturday, August the 30th, I will be in Nashville for Don't Tell Nashville. Got a couple other dates possibly coming through there as well. A couple other shows. I'll keep that posted on the next episode. On the 5th of September, I'm going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, doing a bit of a longer set. So if you happen to be in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, or if you want to commute to watch me bomb for 30 minutes, come out to Raleigh and support that show as well. Then we've got one more Don't Tell in September on the 13th. That's going to be on the 13th of September. That's a Saturday as well, and we've got a returning headliner who is one of my favorite comics to work with. It's always a treat when he gets to jump on one of our shows, so I'm sure he'll do great. I've got some more dates coming up for September, but I'll leave it there for now. Let's go ahead and jump into the episode with my good friend, my beloved, dear, sweet, sweet man, Mr. Jon Pruett.
I've never eaten anything bad that Joey's made.
I believe it.
And
I believe
it. He has had, we've been at his house or whatever, and he's cooking, and he has had dishes fall apart on him. Mm-hmm. He hates frying chicken.
I do too. I do too.
Because
I hate deep frying, period.
Well, and he doesn't use an air fryer. It's in the grease and all that stuff. So to remember to get that chicken damn near dry before you put it in the flour and seasoning the flour, which everybody forgets.
There's a lot of steps.
Yeah, and so he put in all this work for country fried steaks. Mm-hmm. Put in all this work, and then every bit of the batter just fell off.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And it's here's some hamburger patties,
right.
And he was very upset, but it was still so good.
I don't know. I mean, my girlfriend could probably attest to this. I don't know that I've ever had more extreme bouts of rage in front of her than when something I cooked didn't go right. I mean, she sometimes will be like, "Can we just not even cook this weekend? Because I already know." You're going to try something that's way out of your league, and you're going to screw it up, and then you're going to get mad, and then we're going to wind up ordering a pizza anyway. So why don't we just do that?
Why don't we just go straight to the pizza?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I just like cooking, man. I grew up cooking a lot with my grandma in the kitchen and stuff. Very specific menu items. Mm-hmm. She didn't branch out a lot, but I think that she probably is who taught me a real appreciation for food first. Yeah. And then my mom had a friend that kind of came into the picture when I was maybe 7 or something, and he wasn't from this area, so he cooked other things besides the
biscuits
country shit. Exactly.
And,
the same 10 things that my grandma makes, which are some of the best food available. She makes amazing food, but it's 10 things.
Yeah.
So he was I remember he used to make this Hawaiian chicken that had the pineapple and the barbecue and all the shit. And I remember thinking my palate has never tasted this. It's so great because I grew up in a trailer park in Blumpville, Tennessee. So things like that. And he just exposed me to other stuff and I loved it. And now I cook all the time. all the time.
Like I've been all over the world. I've had food from all over the world.
Yeah, you're a food guy, just not a cooking guy.
Exactly. Like I enjoy trying new things, and I like, dude. I tried taco de tripa.
What is that?
It's guts. It's intestines.
Oh, is it tripe?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
It's tripe. I thought
tripa.
Tripe.
Yeah. I know tripe.
So
I've never had it in a Mexican cuisine like that.
I had neither.
I've had it in Asian cuisine. There's a pho shop in, I'm thinking St. Louis or somewhere, that I stopped while I was in the van, and I was feeling kind of bold, so I got like a different bowl than I normally would, and it had tripe in it, and the texture bothers me. I'm a big like sensory texture type of guy, and it's not great.
So like the taco place was in Kingsport, and it's like one of the, like the line was long and everything. And then I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Really? In Kingsport?
Yeah.
Wow. And authentic tacos.
And exactly. I mean, like they had the tripe, they had tongue,
that I've
had brain, you know, that kind of thing. So like, I was like, all right, cool.
That's pretty sick.
And so, and like, I like liver mush. So, you know, the tripe is close texture wise. It's kind of like fried liver mush.
It's super like gelatinous, fatty, kind of bouncy. When I had it, it was prepared in a broth. You know what I mean? So it's like a boiled piece of tripe,
boiled instead of fried.
Right, very different.
So like that changes the texture like crazy. Yeah. And then
do you do like chicken livers, or what about like potted meat, canned fish, stuff like that?
No, I don't do. The only fish I will do is water bugs, like shrimp.
Really?
Yeah. I don't do any fish that swim.
Interesting.
It makes me very ill. So, and one of my favorite things is blackened grain-fed catfish.
Yeah,
I love it.
Blackened anything.
And like catfish and grits.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Haley and I went to
will be violently ill.
Oh, sure. Well, sometimes it's worth it, dude. That same guy who like introduced me to different foods when I was a kid, he's like deathly allergic to iodine. So shellfish and stuff he just can't do. And like red snapper or anything super high content, eats it anyways and brings an EpiPen, and he's like, worth it. Like he's almost dying over some shrimp scampi, but he's like, I can't, I want to be happy.
And see, like, I don't know what it is about. Like I can eat shrimp, crab, lobster, all of that. I can eat it all day long and enjoy it, you know.
Me too. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah. But with fish that swim, I don't know what it is, but it will tear. Like we recording?
We are. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well,
I mean, whatever you want.
Well, listeners, fish that swim make me poop.
There you go.
I mean, like.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean
that's what we do on this show, folks. That's what we're trying
makes
to
you poop.
We're trying to get down to the root of things.
Yeah,
we're trying to.
But and it is a very quick turnaround.
So is it salt and freshwater?
Yeah,
fish.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say I know the iodine thing is like probably somebody's gonna hear this and attack me in my TikTok comments like everyone does all the time on these clips lately. Anyways, that same guy who's like allergic to shellfish can't have specific types of saltwater fish because they're very high in that particular element. And I think red snapper, if I'm not mistaken, is one that is like very comparable to shrimp and lobster in the levels of iodine. So that will tear him up. But like tilapia or cod doesn't bother him.
Tilapia, cod, tuna, my can't do any of it.
That's a shame.
And now it's to the point where, and it's been like that for so long that I wonder now if it's more mental. You know,
maybe.
Like maybe I had bad fish a few times in a row.
Sure. Does happen.
And you know, that's easy to do. But,
bad shellfish will ruin it for a while too.
Never had bad shellfish. I've never gotten sick off of shellfish. I've gotten sick off of almost every chicken joint in the Tri-Cities.
Mussels will do it too.
Yeah.
One bad mussel will ruin mussels for. I really don't order them anymore just because they seem to be the most common culprit of bad seafood. It's tough.
And like
you got to really take care of your mussels, and a lot of chefs don't.
And like going back to texture, like I will not do oysters. Like if I wanted to eat a loogie, I could make one myself.
It's tough. It's tough. And I'm trying to sell Haley on oysters right now. That's kind of so when I met my girlfriend, my sweet girlfriend, who I always talk trash about on this podcast, who's just the best. Love you. She did not eat anything. She ate like a toddler. Like onions were a no.
Yeah.
In any
It's
preparation.
French fries and chicky fingers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of now she eats a lot of Mexican food, a lot of like, cheese, chicken, rice and stuff like that. But so spice and stuff she's fine with, but just trying different things, especially in the seafood category. So that's been a goal. And then we've gone to New Orleans and Virginia Beach and all these different places for comedy. And I've been fortunate enough to let her try some stuff. And normally she likes it. She's coming around.
Oh, good.
But I finally got her to try oysters when we were in New Orleans. But I made the mistake of getting charbroiled oysters, which are fantastic. But I was afraid, like you were saying, the texture, a raw oyster, I'm never going to make her try. I barely like them. I do, but rarely. She would not. So I was like, let's get the charbroiled ones. But I forgot she hates like anything smoky or charcoaly or so that taste made her not like it. But then afterwards, she was like, I don't even think it was the oyster I didn't like. I think it was just the charbroil thing. So she'll probably try those again.
And that is one of my favorite flavors. Is like, oh, you cook this over a fire.
Yeah, I'll just drink liquid smoke right out the bottom. Yeah, dude. I want it all.
And but like like burn ends. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen like some of the super like white trash burn ends, like where they do
like the bologna burn ends? Oh yeah. That's we got the same algorithm.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're both kind of starting to be some big back.
Those videos when they score like a whole bologna and smoke it and shit, you're like, Jesus Christ, the sodium content is off the charts.
My blood pressure went up watching this video. Thank you.
So good though. So good. Yeah, I remember we were probably dating like maybe 6 or 8 months, and we were in Knoxville for some shows or something. We went to this kind of like new trendy burger place that was real popular, and it's a smash burger place. And so when we were ordering, they were like, do you want onions? And just because I know her, I just said, yeah, onions on one and no onions on the other. And from behind me, she leaned around me and she goes, no, on both is good. And I turned around and was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, I've realized in that moment, we're growing.
Oh, we're doing experimenting.
Yeah. Huh? She was like, what can I say? You're right about some stuff.
Yeah,
rarely. But
absolutely.
I do make her sign a formal copy in writing when I'm right. That's I print it out and I make her sign it.
Yeah. Hold on to that.
I've got 3 signed copies right now.
Because you're a straight white dude. You don't win often.
Oh, no. No. I've got a safety deposit box at my bank with 1 slip in there that just says you're right. It's got her signature right there on it.
I told Milo, like, after his top surgery and stuff, I was like, all right, so this is it, dude.
Welcome.
Welcome. 5 years ago, you were a mask presenting lesbian.
Right.
Right. You won every argument.
Yeah.
Now you're just a white dude.
Right. You lose.
And you'll never win another argument again.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, you just cue up Joe Rogan on the TV. Sit down.
Like, hey, guess what? Now you got to mow grass and cry with the rest of us. Yeah,
dude. You know what's so funny? Like, it's funny you brought that up. So today, I'm learning a lot about like clips and engagement and algorithms and stuff. I'm trying really hard with this show, much harder than I've tried with my own personal stand-up stuff, because I feel like that's a little tougher to clip up and put out, and I don't want to burn all my, you know what I mean? Like
burning material. That's why so many of these comics just do,
crowd work and
10, 15, 20 minutes of crowd work. And then that way, hey, I've got 30 seconds out of that I can throw away.
So that stuff I'll post. And I mean, to be honest with you, I posted what I consider to be my best set I've had to date, at the Norman show. And I posted pretty much every joke out of that in separate clips. I think I got like maybe 14 clips out of that 10 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever. But that's like all my material that I'm comfortable putting out there. So with this show, it gives me an opportunity where I have new content every week to post, and I'm trying to force myself to put those clips out there and try. And it's a lot of work, but I'm trying to do it. And dude, the comments are like instantly vicious. Not that I give a shit. And a lot of people are like, don't read them. I actually think at my level, it's important that I respond to everyone and keep the engagement growing. It works. Yeah. But I posted a clip, of me telling my friend Knox on this show about the carjacking that me and Justin saw in DC. And all the comments were like, oh, straight white man's afraid to go to the city. Oh, average conservative white scared of big city and minorities. And I was like, bro, that's a story about 6 armed guys jacking a car in front of me. What? That's not a matter of opinion. That's scary as fuck, dude. That was so scary.
So I saw that clip.
Yeah, okay. And those are your comments, actually. That's why I brought you.
Most of them. I was like, hey, you little bitch. But
no, dude, one guy commented it's like a Halloween outfit. It says straight conservative male or something. And it's just like a don't tread on me thin line t-shirt and like a jacked guy. And it's like a Halloween costume. I thought that was funny. Sorry.
But so like you watched a car get stolen. You did not watch somebody get dragged out of their car and the car.
Nobody was in it.
Right. So that's not a carjacking.
Okay.
You watch
a car theft.
Yeah. You watch car theft.
Sorry.
Right. And so that doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
It's like,
it's not that it bothered me. It's just that seeing 6 armed dudes in ski masks at 3 a.m. is a little outside my cover. But my favorite part is the comments that said that were saying it from a position of like, if they would have been there, they would have just been like, what, you guys need help? Like, shut up, bro. Everyone would have been scared. Everyone would have been scared of that situation.
Especially like, that's why I love how different the scenes are in different cities.
It's just perspective.
And, And so like take 4 comics from, one of our favorite cities and put them, book a show in another one of our favorite cities.
Yeah.
And have
I know the city you're talking about.
Yeah, have those 4 comics. Yeah. Go there and watch their fucking heads explode.
Oh yeah,
there's a Trump store.
Right. Oh, I hear that one all the time.
Like, there's that. And you want to go get some knives and some fudge too? Oh, by the way, we're going and drinking moonshine after that.
Doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh my God.
I think every Knoxville show I've ever done with anyone who's traveling from west into Knoxville, the headliner has made a comment about that Trump MAGA store that's there outside of Knoxville. And I don't even think about it. Like I pass it going to Chattanooga or Nashville or whatever. And I'm just like, who gives a fuck? It's over there.
Go to the Berg. Go to the Berg. Have a good time.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, everyone talks about, it's just a perspective thing, but we even like tried to talk about it on stage a little bit in DC after that. Like we witnessed that car theft on our first night there. So we had like 4 shows after that. And every time I'd try to bring it up and the crowds would just be like, so what?
Man.
Yeah.
It's crime.
They're like, that's the 4th one today. Who gives a fuck?
This is my 3rd car. I bought 3 cars
just jarring.
today. Yeah.
It's jarring to me because like I leave my fucking car unlocked a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like in my driveway. Yeah. It's a different life.
Yeah, very.
It's a different life. We're out here smoking bologna and shit. We're doing different stuff.
We're doing God's work out here.
We're doing different stuff. Different strokes.
I'm just about to say.
The original title for this podcast that I was talked out of, but no, thanks for coming, buddy. I'm glad you're on. I'm going to be honest. Normally, like, because I'm trying to have a real diverse mix of guests on this show, sometimes I have a ton of prep. Sometimes I have none at all. You fall into the latter where it's like, I literally got home from work as you pulled in at my apartment. I'm not prepped at all. I don't know what we're going to talk about. And
it doesn't matter.
We've also done this a bunch.
Yeah.
You can go listen to my old show.
Yeah. I am surprised you still want to talk to me at all.
You can go listen to parts 1 through 70 of the Pruett Chronicles.
Yeah. On his last failed podcast.
That's right. Yeah. You just wait till the next one, dude. The third pod.
That's going to be the star right there. That's the comet.
This one, the beautiful part about this show is it could actually just bottom out at any moment if I just decide to stop doing it.
Oh yeah.
That's honestly like I am start to finish. I'm the guy for this one. So it's like, I'm not going to disappoint anybody. I don't think anybody, well, that's not true. Dustin Aaron is going to be the one guy who's like, no episode today. Cause every Tuesday he'll text me and be like, the audio is a little off on Spotify.
He's just beating the piss.
He's my only supporter. Yeah. I love him so much. He's all I've got. And he lets me know. There's been a couple times where he reminds me that the episode's not up or something's wrong. I'm like,
oh, you're like, oh shit. I got to do this on my lunch break. Thanks a lot, fuckhead.
Every time. Yeah. I actually got to where I can remote into my home computer from work. So there's times now where I'm at work and he'll text me and I'm like, oh shit. And I like get into my home computer and go put it up and stuff. But yeah, I don't have any prep at all.
Like one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was like the business side of doing what we're doing.
Let's talk about it. Let's trash everybody.
Yeah. Dear God. So like I am obscenely jealous of a few people, and the only reason I'm jealous of them is because like they are funnier, and then they also put in a shit ton more work.
Sure.
But the work that they're doing is like cutting up clips, putting up reels, putting up TikToks and shit like that. And like I can't make myself do it. Like I'm this is this is a job. And like the one thing I don't want comedy to ever be for me is to feel like work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so like my question to you is between this podcast, booking for Don't Tell Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
All the shows that you're on.
Yeah.
And then cutting the clips and all of that stuff, then cutting the clips for the podcast, all of that. How do you not, how does it not feel like, I mean, like, I know you love it.
I do love
at the same time, how often does like, this feels like fucking work?
Every time I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I'll maybe go one step at a time on that because each one's a little different. This show in particular is interesting because an average episode runs between an hour and 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. When I go to edit, I have 3 cameras in this room, which, you know, I'll just do the point thing. I got all 3 of those bad boys, and that's great. And the quality looks great, and that's what I wanted from the start. I knew I had talks with Travis and other people I really respect as far as their opinions and stuff, and a lot of them try to discourage me from doing 3 angles because it's a heavy workload, and it is. The reason for that is that normally in like a bigger production, you would have an engineer who's switching the camera as we speak. I have to do all that in post. Yeah. So every time you talk, I hit a button. Every time I talk, I hit a button. You know, that gets, so editing a 90-minute video between 3 cameras may take me 4 or 5 hours sometimes to get that done. So, I mean, I guess a quicker answer to your question would be all of that I kind of asked for, you know, like I spent 6 months gearing up and prepping and doing all this shit to get this show where it is and to launch it. So it would be a little insane of me to now all the time complain about this thing that I did to myself. Right. You know what I mean? Like nobody's holding a gun to my head and making me do this. That being said, I do complain about it constantly all the time. And I literally was just telling Haley yesterday, I was like, I'm sure you know this about me, but I only complain about things when I want them to be perfect because I really, really care. Yeah. Much like my relationship with her, it feels like I'm always negative or like focusing on our flaws and stuff. And I'm like, that's just my brain wants to fix stuff. So I think I'm just fucked up enough to love the struggle of it. You're a masochist. I'm a sick fuck. That's what it is.
Yeah, you like being spanked.
Well, that's totally different.
Get you a ball gag.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that's
dirty.
When I was in college, I spent. That's my new tattoo. I'm getting. When I was in college, I spent ungodly amounts of hours alone in a computer lab in the middle of the night working on things because I didn't live on campus, and a lot of times I didn't want to drive home. So I would sit and these animation projects where I'm a team of 1 for what would normally be a whole studio. I mean, sometimes I would invest several hundred hours into a 10 to 12 second output by the end of it. So I think that 4 years of that also kind of trained my brain for like much work, little output. You know, I don't really respond well to things that are easy to do. And I especially don't respond well to things that are quick and have like a huge output off a little bit of work. I've kind of just trained my brain to just buckle down and do it. And then I'm also a major procrastinator. So like the episode that aired this morning was done and was like scheduled to post probably this morning about 2 a.m. and it came out at 9. And then I go to work at 8. So I'm up at 2. You know, like I just do it. To be honest, it's the one area of my life that I have some level of discipline.
I got you.
But I think that for some reason, like working on things I'm passionate about is the only area you'll find that because I'm not disciplined with my diet or my exercise or my relationship or my family connections or my friendships. Even I'm kind of a shitty friend at times. I like all the things that where you really need discipline. I've always struggled with my whole life, but for some reason, something I care about as much as I do comedy and even this show, I can give that 100%.
I got you.
So it's very rare.
Yeah.
But also, you mentioned like all the shows I'm on. I'm not really, I don't feel like I'm on a lot. And most of them are don't tells, which are, I don't want to say they're easy for me to get, but I'm a don't tell producer. And so a lot of times that opens doors for me that others don't have. And so, I mean, if you look at my, dates post, it's almost all this month. I think it was just 4 don't tells.
Right. But at the same time, like if you weren't doing don't tell,
I'd
have
nothing.
Well,
nothing. That shows everything. I mean that show. This weekend's a perfect example. This weekend we had not perfect ticket sales. You know, we didn't quite sell out. It wasn't exactly what I'd hoped for as far as numbers or budget or all this shit. That lineup was my decision, 100%. There was no recommendations. I didn't owe any favors on this one. This was I handpicked the comics on there. Easily one of our best shows we've had in a long time. Like a fantastic lineup to where many people from the crowd, although it was a smaller crowd, approached me and the other comics after and were like, where's the next show? How can we support? How can we follow you? I got 2 reviews out of that show, which I never get, you know, things like that, where it's like, I think because I see the return on the investment too. Same with this show. Yeah. That kind of fuels you. So I think with you, especially like wanting to do more and cut more clips and shit, I think until you start seeing those numbers, until you start seeing the return, it's a bigger monster in your head than it really is.
Well, that, and so it's the editing process that I hate, you know, and like, so I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
there's also a huge learning curve there if you've never done it.
Yeah. And like like every TikTok I've ever posted or every reel I've ever posted, 150, 600, you know, like nothing going viral by any way, shape or form. And like to look at that and be like, why do it?
Right.
You know?
Right. Also, I mean, a lot of my favorite comics and content creators and stuff don't really push, you know, content. And there's also such a thing as too much. That's another thing I learned real fast with this show. Is like if I'm posting 3 clips a day on Instagram and, you know, collaborating with my own account, suddenly my whole landing page on my personal TikTok or personal Instagram rather is clips of this show.
Yeah.
And it's 10 clips in a row before I post anything else. So things like that, where it's like learning a balance. But I mean, in your case, what would be your incentive for posting? Just more eyes on your content?
Eyes. Yeah. And like, you know, it is really nice to be able to get booked on a show and be like, you know, anybody from my social media, you know, shows up. That would be fantastic. You know, instead of
Trav gets that now.
Exactly. But look at the amount of work he puts in just in editing his clips.
Yeah.
And he's got some incredible videos.
He does.
So like he has very good quality off of the get-go and then he knows how to edit. Yeah. So like, of course Trav is going to get, and you know, and that is just icing on the cake that is,
that is Trav.
And it's a nice cake. But
he's got some cake.
He is. But like, you know, he's already an incredibly funny person. He already knows how to write so well. And then, I can also make videos and edit them and get them to get some traction.
Trav, I've found myself having to step in at times and go, hey, stop looking at Trav. Stop comparing you to Travis, because and this is going to sound like we're just like blowing this guy for the whole podcast, which is fine. I mean, I've done it before.
It's easy. I mean, it's not like we're not taking a lot.
Both physically and metaphorically, we've been there. But I think
he ain't got no radiator.
I'm singling him out in this conversation because he's a guy who, if you look at him outside of stand-up, he's multifaceted, does everything, is pretty knowledgeable and good at almost everything. So it's almost like, well, of course he's naturally good at stand-up and all this other shit because he's just kind of good at most stuff. But the one thing that, because Travis is such a humble person and such a, at times kind of maybe even like insecure guy, and I don't think that's me. I don't think that's me outing him.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful. That's my favorite part about him.
Because that is the only thing about him I can exploit.
Right. That's true too.
Like, Travis, I hope you feel like shit.
His humility though sometimes I think prevents him from really opening up about the level of work that he puts into things. A lot of times he'll go, "Oh, I'm just lucky, man. I just, who knows?"
At the same time, I mean, like how many days on end did you lose? How much sleep did you lose to edit that 6-minute video?
Tons.
Or like, and I mean, plus he's a musician as well, so like his level of like what he can dedicate of himself to what he does.
Yeah, almost like, similar to that animation thing I was talking about, where it's like if you put 100 hours into something for 10 seconds of reward, there is something in your brain after a long time of that goes, oh, this is just the ratio of work to reward that we're comfortable with. And I think a lot of people, and I could name some things, but I'm not going to, but a lot of people are not, their brain is not trained that way. Their brain is trained, you do something, you're rewarded, instant gratification.
I think
it's tough.
And I think that's just how we've gotten programmed now. You
know, I think
so too. Like every time we do that, is a little
serotonin,
bit of, a little bit of dopamine, serotonin,
absolutely,
and like that's every time we do that,
absolutely.
So actually having to do the work to get a reward is that's almost a foreign concept now. I
think so, and I think there's probably some crossover too between like my upbringing and stuff. I mean, literally just before we clicked record up here, you walked in as I'm downstairs listening to a vinyl record. So like most 25-year-olds don't want to listen to a record because you can't pause it and you can't jump around on albums and you have to touch it and you have to put the needle on it and you have to do. So like, I think just who I am is I'm kind of willing to.
You're a little behind the times.
I'm a little behind the times and I don't need that instant payback. And I believe I was just brought up on hard work too. I mean, and that sounds goofy considering I'm the laziest human alive in my moments. That's the other thing too, is like I balance it out. Don't get me wrong. There's days where you can't get a hold of me and I'm in bed scrolling TikTok for 8 hours. That does happen, like maybe once or twice a blue moon or what, like that. There's a balance there. But I think more than any of the nonsense that I blabbed out to answer your very simple question. I don't know why I'm still talking. More than any of that, I think I just believe that there's a place I want to get to, and there's where I am now, and that hard work is what's in between.
Okay.
So I'm just willing to do it.
All right.
I think that's it. I think that really probably boils it down. I should have said that 10 minutes ago.
That'd be fantastic. we're talking about trimming fat off of jokes, dude.
Yeah, for real. There's one guy who's got plenty of fat. It's your boy right here. Let me tell you.
Tell me about it.
I just had to change T-shirts before we clicked record because I was too self-conscious in my old T-shirt, dude.
So, all right, to follow that up, and now it feels like I'm interviewing you. But,
sure, it does a little bit. Yeah.
But to follow that up, all right, so where do you want to be with not even this show, but podcasting, and where do you want to be as a comic in, say, 5 years?
Oh, Jesus.
That's not a middle school question at all. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
No, I mean, it's a good question because I think it's tough. The biggest element there is the geographical element is, am I still living in this apartment in this town in 5 years? I don't think so.
I would hope not.
I don't think so. I mean, I know that my lease is up in about 6 months, and I know that my girlfriend, who I'm in a committed relationship, her school trajectory kind of opens up after this next year. We start looking at relocating, all these things. So I'm looking at cities, I'm looking at options, and I don't necessarily want to say anything on the air, but I have some ideas that I can talk to you about later as far as cities to go and reasons for that. But this show in particular, I would love to still be doing in 5 years. And I think that the main goal for that is just to have the weirdest, most eclectic, most informative mix of guests. I think because I'm coming from Talking Bits where we were super boxed in by our idea for the show, which is totally fine. That's what we set out to do, and we did it very well. This feels more like the Wild West, where it's like, if I want to talk to you, you'll sit there, and if I don't, you're not gonna. That's literally the only reason that anybody comes in this room to record this, is because I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because there was a few, not a lot, but there was a couple interviews on Talking Bits that we did where it was like, Michael wants to talk to them and I don't really know them. Or it's a friend of mine that Michael's never even met until they walk in the room. Things like that, where it's like, then we're kind of both sacrificing a little more than maybe we needed to.
And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to about what you're doing with this is you're actually going to be talking to complete strangers as well.
Oh, 100%.
So like, it's not somebody that you knew or Michael knew or whatever, even if it's a person you've never met and you're feeling a little bit left out of their conversation.
Sure.
Now you have a brand new person you have to find out about and what they're going to tell you. You have no idea.
It's so exciting. I mean, it's scary. Don't get me wrong. It's like as I even hesitate to say like as a host or as an interviewer, because I think I'm kind of just starting out, but I do have a natural love for it. And, I grew up on late night and then eventually podcasts and stuff. So I'm pretty hip to the idea of a person sitting here asking questions. But yeah, having that stranger interaction that you mentioned is something I'm excited for too. Cause with Talking Bits, we almost always, with the exception of like two guests, had at least one thing in common, which is we all do stand up.
Yeah.
In here, I've already had several guests that are not.
Right.
And so it's almost like it's on me then to find the common ground.
Oh yeah.
It's harder.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun.
And like, you're going to have, musicians and business owners
Yeah.
and veterans and all this. Like it's, I'm really looking forward to that whole eclectic mix. And
me too.
Like,
because that's who I am. I mean, you've seen my apartment. It's fucking nightmare. It's a mess. Like this room's covered in Pixar toys. Downstairs is covered in antique briefcases. It's like
and vinyl and it's so weird. For
every room is different.
And like, you know, dude, you're younger than my daughter, older than my son, just a little bit,
just barely.
But like, you know, you are. That's why I call you.
I am your son.
Yeah. I mean, like, then I saw you without a hat, and I was like, holy shit, he has my hairline.
That's true. Yeah.
But
yeah, he caught me on a bad day. He caught me sleeping today. I didn't have a.
That was the first. It was the first time I've ever seen you without a hat.
Yeah.
And I was glad you put it on.
Yeah. Me and you both. Me and you both.
But like, my kids have like very different tastes. Both of them are incredibly creative.
Yeah.
You know, both of them can draw, can paint, you know, that kind of thing.
Do they get that from you?
No.
Really?
No. They got that one from
mom.
From mom.
Yeah.
Like my daughter is putting together her portfolio so she can be a tattooer. And,
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, she's and then Milo is just Milo. I mean, like he
eclectic. Would you say, or
with what he does, he amazes me in everything he has done as far as his creativity.
Yeah.
Like he would draw like on his pad for the computer, you know, like
he has like a Cintiq animation pad. That's cool. That's what I had in college.
And like
too,
he was wanting to go to school for animation.
Yeah. Well, I can give some recs if you need them.
I think now he's just like, I want to work and not be around people.
Yeah.
You know?
Good call.
But and I'm like, yeah, people suck.
Yeah.
But and he works in like it could be drawing on that pad, or it could be drawing these crazy patterns on like just notebook paper, or then I'll look and he'll have like clay, you know, so like like he made my old dog, my old Redbone, he made like a little keychain piece, but it looked exactly like her.
Wow.
You know, and it was out of clay. And I was like, when did you work with clay? He was,
right.
And he's like, just, you know.
You're like, this is what you're doing at night? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Practicing with clay.
And then like, you know, for my wedding, like he helped me make the boutonnieres and stuff like that. And like the ones he made look a damn sight better than mine.
Sure.
I was like, oh, you can see the duct tape I used. And he was like, yeah, I use glue.
Well, it's so interesting that you are able to recognize when we're talking about Trav that his own humility sometimes prevents him from being honest about his talent. And I think that you are very much that guy as well. And I know you very personally, so it's a little different than just a stranger on the show like we were talking about. But to say that those kids don't get any influence and creativity from you is just fucking nonsense. Well, and even more so that they do it because they love it. Because literally we were just talking about how you do comedy because you love it. You don't want it to be your job. You don't want it to lose the magic.
Well, and that's one of the things I told them like their whole lives. And it might have been bad parenting. I don't know. It might have been bad parent advice, but I told them, I was like, look, find a job you like and do whatever you love for the sake of loving it. Yeah. Don't ever have something you love pay your bills. Don't ever put the stress of your electric bill on something you love, because then that really tarnishes it. You know, for me anyway.
I don't think that's bad advice. I think it's very personalized advice, but it absolutely rings true for you. So obviously you're going to try to pass that on. I mean, that makes total sense to me.
And I also told them, I was like, look, if you have a job that pays all of your bills and you absolutely love it, great. That's what everybody wants.
That's not real,
you know, but
rarely.
But at the same time, you know, and like that's one of the things about having adult kids, is to see them adulting and feel like, I'm sorry you're miserable, but I am too.
Yeah. Well,
you know, like, good. Yeah. Here, do you want to have a beer and mow the grass with me?
Yeah.
That's what I've got.
You're like, that's the only way we get through this.
Yeah. It's we're probably gonna have some heart disease going on in about 5 years.
The adult kids thing is interesting too, because I mean, I know we talk a lot about your kids, and especially on our long drives that we used to sometimes do for comedy and stuff. I think
I miss those, by the way.
I do too. And I think they're super like formative for me too, because it was pretty early on. But I think we talk a lot about your kids, but talk to me a little bit about the difference between having adult kids and having kids. I mean, is there one or other you prefer? I guess they probably both have pros and cons, right?
Yeah, definitely. I will tell you that having teenage kids,
that's the worst.
It was horrid.
Right. So it's before and after.
Like,
that's good.
But like, seeing Joey's son Archer, you know, my godson.
How old is Archer now?
2.
Okay,
he's 2 now.
Right. So that's
like I can already tell that if I ever become a granddad, I feel terrible for what I'm going to do to my children, because of that grandbaby. Because that grandbaby that kid's going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
but like seeing Archer at 2 and seeing how quickly everything goes by, you know, like going from, you know, he just wants to be held and be cuddled and, you know, and going to sleep on your shoulder and everything. And it's so sweet. And it's like something you cherish, to like, now he's running around and like you're like, come on, you want me to pick you up? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
And you know,
that quick.
And and like everything. And I think that's another thing about getting older is it all goes by faster.
Yeah.
So like my kids, when they were younger, like Milo at 8 was just awesome. He was, you know, like so much fun.
Yeah, right. More fun, but there's a different kind of rewarding that comes with adult kids, right? Like when you see them overcome obstacles, and it's a different thing.
Yeah, like when like right after the pandemic and during the pandemic, like E's job had shut down. You know, so like she has no job.
Right.
But then luckily the unemployment thing kicked in and everything. She was doing okay. But she was like, look, if I can't work, I'm just going to go back to school and get 2 more bachelor's degrees in a year and a half. Like, that's just crazy to me, you know? So like to see her doing stuff like that, to see her working so hard, and to still be chasing that, like, I want to have a job where I'm creative all the time. Yeah. Then seeing her do that is awesome for me. And then seeing Milo and his progression, especially the last 5 years.
Sure. Well, with your kids too, and I mean, we don't have to go too deep into any of it because I know it's a very personal and sensitive subject, but there's a lot of like personal revelation that goes on with your kids too, right? That you've watched them navigate as well.
Oh yeah.
It's not just work and friends and all these things. It's who they are to their core, that they're questioning and learning and changing and growing.
The thing I love most about both of my kids is if they see something that they know is wrong, they do something about it. Yeah. And
is that something you tried to impart on them, or maybe they just picked up on their own?
I would hope that they got it from me, but I'm pretty sure that they're just good people.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that probably ties back to parents.
Yeah.
To some degree too. Yeah. Just really your whole village of who influences.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, you know, I mean, dear God, you've met my mom, what, twice?
A couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few times.
Sweetest lady on the planet.
Yeah.
But that lady also has a 38 in her purse,
right.
you know?
Right. The duality of.
Yeah. The best way I've ever heard my mom described was she is a cotton ball wrapped around a razor blade.
Oh, that's a good. That's great.
Yeah. And I was
like, who said that? That's fucking awesome.
I worked at a flower shop when I was like 15 to 17. And like, as soon as I had my license, I was delivering flowers and stuff. And it was one of the florists, because my mom used to be a florist way back in the day. And that, like, this lady knew my mom and then knew her, like, post me.
Right.
You know, like, this lady knew my mom, like, back in the day.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh, yeah, she's the sweetest person on the planet, but don't ever mess with her family.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. So. Well, that's so funny, because I feel like that's definitely something that I can see that she's passed on to you. I mean, that's kind of your whole everything is like,
oh, yeah,
I am who I am. I'm having a good time. It's all fun and jokes until it's not. And that line is drawn very sharply around your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And there's a difference in jokes and jest and having fun and anyone actually posing a threat or an insult to your family. I mean, you even talk to me a little about your material too, because most of your set as a comedian revolves around your children, your family, your upbringing, all these things, but it's also so sacred to you. Do you ever find it hard to kind of mock and hold things sacred?
I think that is why I don't post it a lot. You know, like when I was on Ryan Cox's podcast, and you know,
I love Ryan. Shout out to Ryan.
Hey Ryan.
Yeah. Hi Ryan.
But like, you know, I had talked about my most famous bit, you know, and it's about Milo, and and he puts it on TikTok, and like the first comment is just full of hate.
Sure.
And it wasn't, I don't know if it was full of so much hate, but like a lot of like, you could have been a better dad, you know, kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm like,
Well, it's also interesting. It's kind of similar to what I was rambling about earlier with the comments thing. Is like they're seeing a 15-second 1080p video that was recorded weeks ago, and they're like they assume they know everything about you off of this one thing, and it's like, you don't know me. What the fuck? It's the same to me at stand-up shows when people get upset about jokes or they cry out. You know, I think Mark Norman has this clip that I've probably watched 100 billion times where this lady starts yelling out about a joke he made, and he just goes, "What are you mad about?" And she starts yelling, "Oh, women, blah, 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 blah." And he goes, "It's a joke. What are you talking? You're at a comedy show." And then she's still going, and he looks at her and he goes, "You don't know me, you dumb bitch," which is so like that. Yeah. You don't know me is so funny, because I think people now see one clip and they just assume, oh, that's who that guy is.
Yeah.
You know, which there's different ways of dealing with it. Do you ever feel urge to respond? Do you get defensive or aggressive, or do you just kind of let it go?
When, like my first year and a half, especially when I was writing those bits and you know, trying them for the first time,
right,
I was very, very defensive. And
what's a very vulnerable thing to talk about.
And I was ready for hatred. You know, and I was ready for somebody to say something off-putting about my kids or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I wonder how far I can chuck this mic stand, you know, how violent can I get and hopefully be able to come back to any kind of comedy. And I asked Sean, I was like, so, Sean Carter, by the way.
Sean Carter, we're talking about. The owner of Blue Ridge Comedy Club.
He'll never get brought up again.
Well, just about every episode, but that's fine. Yeah.
But I had asked him, I was like, you know, I'm going to be talking about this, this, and this. What if somebody that's full of hate is in the audience? And he's like, the last time I checked, you did 20 years in the Army. And I was like, yeah. He goes, so you defended their right to say whatever.
Right.
Yeah. He goes, well, you also have the right to say whatever the fuck you want back to them.
That's true. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen with you in particular, I think early on for me, you know, at Blue Ridge, we had sort of I think a much tighter knit kind of almost family in the early days when I first started, because we had a different location and a more regular cast of characters. I think I should say, this sounds like an old man talking. There's a whole new family. There's a whole new family now that they are all close like that. But our class, so to speak, is kind of, we've all got to the point where we don't see each other as much and all this stuff. Not as close, which is a shame. Yeah. But at the time, you really stood out to me, because I think that among all the material floating around between the 6 or 8 of us there at the club all the time, yours was so singular and so unique. Not only because it's so authentically you in your life, but because, you know, like Joe Bridges is, I know he's going to listen to this, so I'll bring him up because he'll like that. His material is so authentically Joe, and everything he does is so Joe. But yours in particular always stuck out to me because I've seen you at shows, and you've done a number of my Don't Tell shows and stuff. We work together a lot, and I've seen crowds, East Tennessee, white conservative crowds, hear you say things like, yeah, I have a trans kid. I have all these things. I'm an ally. I perform at pride shows, all these different aspects of your life that you talk about. And I've seen crowds not react so great to it. But then I've seen you one by one convince them that not only is it okay for you to say it, but for them to laugh at it. That's so important to me. And I think that that's a lesson I learned from you specifically in the early days is like, whatever they don't want to hear, you just have to convince them that they do.
Can we break on that real quick?
Yeah. Let's take a pause. Okay. Sorry. We're back. Right before we break, we were just talking about how early on when I started stand up, I got to see a little bit of your vulnerability on stage and kind of like the lessons that I pulled from that. So talk to me a little about that.
So like, I think the best way to tell you about it is like with my hour, it evolves from what I thought was most important.
Yeah.
So I start my hour about like with Army stories,
right?
Or like there's an introduction, like, hey, this is how I look, how I sound, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Army stories, because like 20 years of my life I was in the military. So that was the vast majority of my life. I mean, I lost a lot of time. From my kids, I missed both of them graduating high school, that kind of thing. So then it's the Army, and then, some just little life stuff, but then the end of that hour is all the stuff about my kids, my family, and it's an easy way to look at me and go, oh, okay. You used to prioritize, being a soldier,
right? It's literally the evolution of your priorities across an hour.
Yeah, and so
that's beautiful.
So like, and that's why I can like I start that hour with the same tag and end it with the same tag. Like we're going to Red Lobster, Red Lobster, Red Lobster. 3 different stories. So the first one, I was in the military, single. That's my broken nose bit.
Right.
And then
I know it all too well. Yeah.
So does my mother, which is
that
horrifying.
Is funny.
Horrifying.
That is funny.
But then like I talk about when my daughter got into a fight at school, and when she got into that fight, she was defending a young lady that was being bullied.
Right.
And that
I know
kind of
the
thing.
bit. Yeah. Right.
So
that's starting to talk more about the kids.
Yeah. Starting to and
pride for your kids.
Yeah. And I'm still in the military. So like, there's this, like the interaction of being in the military with this happening.
Yeah.
And how my daughter is taking on the world at that time.
Right.
And I was so proud of her. And so then I'm like, all right, well, Red Lobster at the end of that bit.
Right.
And then toward the end of that hour, doing all of the, stuff about both of my kids.
Yeah.
Pride shows.
Yeah.
Where my life is now. And then Milo standing up for himself, being completely comfortable in who he is.
Right.
And being so proud, and then finishing it all off with, all right, get a bat and get in the truck. We're going to Red Lobster.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think the different like elements that you're mentioning too, that you've intentionally crafted that hour in that way. I think not only is it kind of seeing the evolution of you and your priorities, like you said, it's also by starting off with here's how I look, here's the surface of me, here's what you're all assuming.
Oh yeah.
Now let me spend the next hour showing you what's under that.
Yes.
And I think that not only is creatively very smart and beautiful, it also, for especially local audiences, starting off your set with I'm a veteran, I'm wearing overalls, here's what I look like, here's what I sound like, gets a lot of people on your side who, if you started with I have a trans kid, I'm an ally, I have this thing, would immediately turn off. And that's unfortunate, but that's just crowds around here. It's just how it works. And I think that allows you to kind of ease them into those topics that they may otherwise be a little apprehensive to sit through or hear. And I've seen that work for you, because it's like, well, now that they're already a fan of you, they're a little more willing to hear you talk about these things.
Yeah.
You kind of win them over first.
Yeah.
And then go, now we're going to get to my shit.
Yeah. And the funny part is like, and it's a 2-way street with that. Like I get, okay, like the way I look, the way I sound, I get it from both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Like if I'm doing a show in East Tennessee, and it's mainly a white show, and they're automatically going to go, oh yeah, all right then.
Right.
Then I do a black room in Roanoke.
Right.
And they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? You know?
Yeah.
Or then I'm working a Pride show.
Right.
And I have to spend 2 minutes of my set going, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
You know, I promise I'm not here on accident.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. Oh, damn, I'm at the wrong rally.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. The Pride show thing is super interesting because I think that just by you being a comic who can perform and successfully perform at that and at a nightclub show, like a more typical stand-up audience, kind of isolates you already as this like kind of, I don't think it's not too different. I'm not seeing two different Pruetts. In fact, it's probably the same damn set that works at both, same material. But like me, for instance, I would be totally out of my comfort zone at a Pride show, not because I have any material that's offensive or blatantly, homophobic or anything like that. It's just not something I am attuned to and not something that I've done. Whereas with you, I mean, was there any apprehension at all about that in the beginning, or was it like, no, these are my people?
No, it was, I was apprehensive. The first Pride show I ever did was at Blue Ridge. Okay. And I opened for Abe Fairley, who is just phenomenal. I love that dude. Yeah. He's so great. But opening for him, and I was apprehensive about it. I'm like,
well, you're also very nervous before every set, which maybe point out. Like,
not so much nowadays. Oh, good. Good. Which I think that's also, I don't put as much pressure on myself as I used to.
What changed there?
I think starting to actually believe I can have a good product and be like, all right, look, this works.
A little bit of confidence.
Yeah. Whereas and I still get nerves, you know, but it's not,
I've seen it.
It's not the,
you do the, this.
Yeah.
I catch you doing that.
Yeah. Popping my
Sometimes
wrist.
I see you doing that and I go, hey, it's all right.
Well, that and it's also like this, way back in the day when I was young and in shape and, used to box and stuff. That's how I, got my wrist limber before it got taped.
Yeah, you're kind of just warming up.
Yeah.
But I only see you do that when you're real. Like, do you remember?
The competition or not the competition.
Was that your headliner spot that time? Maybe. I think that was the first time you headlined.
No,
or maybe it's a different story.
No, when you had to calm me down was the festival.
Was it?
And
you were a mess.
I'd already been kicked out.
Right. That's what so you got voted out.
I got voted out.
They brought you back in.
And then a comic dropped.
Yes.
And they brought me back in. So I was like, I shouldn't be here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, I remember that one because that was in the hallway, I think, out back. The one I was actually thinking of I'm 90% sure it was the first time you headlined because it was like during the winter and I wasn't planning on being a part of it or going up. I just wanted to come support you.
Yeah,
so I show up and I am not prepared to go on stage. I'm dressed like a hobo. And I walk into the green room or supply room back there and you're back there and you just go, you're hosting, right? And I was like, what? Like I didn't panicked and I should have assumed. I mean, I didn't want to assume because that's wrong or whatever. But so I was like, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. And then you pack the place out. There's like friends, family, there's tons of people there to support you. It was amazing. And I walk back there and you're nervous and you're doing your hand thing. And I don't remember exactly. I said something to the effect of like, whatever you're worried about, you've already done. I was like, just look out there. And I remember you looked out there and I was like, they're all here for you.
Yeah.
So just go have fun. And I literally watched the anxiety like leave your body. And
my shoulders dropped.
Crushed. You went up there and crushed. So it's like sometimes I think, especially as comedians, but maybe just as people, we need that exterior voice.
Yeah,
I do.
Absolutely.
I do for sure.
And like, it's always nice. And here's the weird part. Like, your friends or your significant other or whatever, they can compliment the shit out of you. And you're like,
doesn't matter.
Thanks. Yeah. But like a fucking stranger can go, oh my God, you were so funny. And you're like, all right, I'm going to take that one with me.
Really? Do you like that? See, I don't really care. That sounds bad. I do care.
It's really nice to, because like, especially in what we do, like our friends are supportive, our families are supportive, that kind of thing. We're fortunate enough for that, like you have a significant other that's very, very supportive of you.
Very.
And I do as well.
Yeah.
So like, we're very fortunate in that. So, but to hear them go, hey babe, you were very funny. This show went really well. And you're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But so like if there was a booker from God knows where
right.
in the audience, and they came up to you and were like, dude, I want, that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
I hope to book you, or whatever.
Now that means something.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's more like opportunity based. And I think for me, the most meaningful compliments I can receive are from not even really someone who has something to offer me, not necessarily a booker. It's another comedian or artist who I respect their work.
Oh yeah.
Because I go, oh, I like your stuff. So if you compliment me, then you must see something in me, and I don't necessarily want to name all the people who have complimented me over the years, but there have been several that are very nice that I've opened for or hosted weekends for and stuff that have maybe not even something like super extreme, but just a subtle, like, hey, good set, but not the bullshit good set fist bump that you get when you bomb.
Yeah.
That's a little known secret about stand up. If you really shit the bed, you're going to get fist bumped by every comic in the room. Don't buy that one. That's not real.
Yeah, that's horrid.
I'm talking about a real, genuine, something even subtle. That to me means the most because, like with the significant other example that you mentioned, I know that no matter how good or bad I do, Haley's gonna try to console me even if I do bad. So if she's complimenting me, sometimes it's because she just wants me to cheer up a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's because she knows if I'm in a bad mood and I just bomb, we're not going to Wingstop after the show, and she really wants dry rub. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is her nickname for me. And so sometimes she's gonna hate that. That's a joke.
Tell him to spit on it, Haley.
Right, I'm just saying. Sometimes it's like you never know. People sometimes have a vested interest in their approach to you as well. But with somebody you respect, who like a comedian that has no reason to compliment you, you know what I mean? They're leagues above you on this game we're all playing. The only reason they compliment you is because they mean it.
Yeah.
Or because they're faking it and being nice. But when they mean it, that to me is the most meaningful.
So like what I really just like, if I want to have a super good night, then some kid, like, some young person in their early 20s or whatever is going to come up and be like, I've never heard somebody talk about what you talk about in a positive light, and I think we might have talked about this a little bit. Did a show up in Virginia, next to the college, one of Catherine's shows.
Oh, okay.
And
I know. Yeah.
This dude I think he was a junior, and did my bit, talked about my kids, talked about the kind of like who they are,
Yeah. Is this? Can I say this kid's name and see if it's him? Do you remember his name?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
Never mind. Never mind.
He was just a student.
I was going to bleep it. Oh, okay.
But he came up and he was like, I haven't spoken to my dad since I was 17 when I came out to him.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, oh, and he was like, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, I'm going to give him another chance. And if, like just to see that there are people that are accepting or whatever, like it kills me to see anybody who refuses to talk to their kid.
Yeah.
Like doesn't matter what age, like you don't talk to your kid. Like,
right.
How does that?
Well, preaching to the choir here, but yeah. I haven't talked to my son in years. No, I'm actually the child in this scenario, but yeah.
Yeah. Right. And like, well, I mean, shit, I'll be your dad.
Well, you kind of are. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's one of the, and that's one of the things I got from my mom, like my brothers and sisters are from my dad's first marriage. And like, for my mom to come in and then have me, and like my brothers and sisters are in their 20s, and
there's about a 20-year age gap between you and
Yeah.
So you're basically an only child.
Yeah. But I mean, like all of my nieces and nephews are my age, so like we got raised weird. It is like weird. It's nieces and nephews that are all across the color spectrum and everything, and it's like, all right, we're all going to get along in Rims Creek, North Carolina.
You do have like a gumbo of a life. There's all kinds of cool pieces, but that's my favorite type of person is somebody
it's fun.
Yeah. You ever meet somebody who's like, no, I grew up, mom and dad, we ate dinner together every night, little brother, and then went to church on Sunday, and now I'm 30. And you're like, Jesus Christ, how fucking boring is this? And well, the funny part is when I was a kid, I used to idealize that. I have a buddy who, I won't say his name maybe, but he's my best friend as a kid, and to some degree still is. We don't see each other a lot, but just a real special person to me. His family from the outside and damn near from the inside, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice house. They built it. They own the land. Nice mom, nice dad, church people, cook dinner, no fights, never raised their voice, nobody, all this shit. And as a kid, I would go there, and I was coming from the opposite of that in every way. And I was so envious of that and so jealous of that. But now as I grow older, I've learned to appreciate what I had. And I think that in a way that kind of scares me. It's almost akin to like that 9-to-5 corporate job where you're like, oh, you're just sitting at a desk all the time. It bores the shit out of me. I need some flavor in this gumbo.
Well, my mom is still amazing, but my dad's passed. And so like I had up until I was 30, 2 amazing parents that stayed together and loved each other and everything. Did they get along 24/7? No.
Right.
Did they ever have screaming matches? No. So like, I did not have a lot of trauma from my childhood. I had to go, get shot at and blown up to get some trauma.
That's true. You went looking.
Yeah, I did. I actually kind of did. I was like,
I had enough.
Weaverville is boring.
Yeah.
And
National Guard called and I said, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got hit, you got hit a few times.
I stepped on a few IEDs.
So,
sure.
Yeah. But like, I didn't, it was like, I went to college for a year. I hated it.
Did you really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I went to App State.
What was your major?
Communications.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to be like an editor of some kind and everything, and then I got into editing, and I was like, "This sucks."
It does suck. It does suck.
But I loved writing. I loved being in theater, and like doing the like little one acts that you do as a freshman and stuff like that. I loved it.
That makes sense to see where you're at now. But I mean, then you had to take like a 20-year hiatus from that.
Yeah.
From that performative. Well, that's almost not fair to say because you're just such a performative person. Like when you're telling a story, I can imagine you in the Army. I don't think
when you're sitting around shooting the shit,
right,
and like just smoking and joking. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Yeah. And like the longer your jokes are, then and like when you see people starting to lean in, and you're like, oh, okay.
You also, I mean, I think this is true for a lot of people. I'd maybe even include myself in this. I think in the sense, like the truest sense of the word, I think I was a comic long before I ever stepped on stage.
Absolutely.
It's a mentality.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably the same way.
Yeah. I figured out real quick that my mom won't whoop me if she's laughing.
Let me ask you about that because I actually wrote this down a few minutes ago. So when I started stand-up, and I may have told you this before, but when I started stand-up, there's about a 6 or 8 month period maybe starting out where I didn't really know how honest I would be able to be on stage, how vulnerable I would be able to get, and then furthermore, how honest I could be with my family and with my friends. I didn't really tell anybody I was doing it. I kind of made up an excuse of where I was every Wednesday and Tuesday for 6 months or what, like eventually it starts to come out, but then I'm kind of like, let's just keep it, I don't want family knowing and all these things. And now of course it's my whole identity. But at the time I didn't really know how to kind of roll it in because I was worried about, the way I talk and the things I say and how that would impact the people. Some of them I mentioned by name on stage and stuff. And similar to your thing like that, putting some of your family on blast or your childhood or whatever. But my grandma was who I was worried about the most because she is a very pure-hearted, sweet lady. And I had a conversation with her. It's maybe 6 or 8 months in, and she's wanting to come to her first show. And she's like, just let me come. And I've been saying no. And so I finally was like, you can come. But like, I'm going to say things that I would never say to you.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about things that in any other setting, I'd never be comfortable saying to you. If you're okay with that, you can come. And I said that assuming that she would go, oh, then I get it. I take the hint. Never mind. And she said something to the effect of, if it's funny, you're going to have to do it, sweetie. If you really want to do this thing, I guess you just got to say what's funny. And I'm going to be there laughing. And she came, and now she's at shows all the time. So you mentioned your mother, the cotton ball around a razor blade. I know, because I know you personally, I remember a time when she had never seen you do comedy. I was around for that.
Her first time was me headlining.
That first time was you headlining at Blue Ridge, the story that I mentioned. So how did she react both leading up to? Was there that same conversation where you're like, look, you're going to hear some stuff? Like,
yeah.
I know that was a big worry for you. I remember.
I said, Mama, I'm going to say the F-bomb.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, I'm going to talk about some things that are absolutely filthy, and
absolutely,
and like if you want to come in at like the half hour mark, we can figure something out.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, no,
I'll go clean for the last 30.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm gonna see every bit of it. And I'm like, okay. And I'll probably mention that you are in the audience.
And you did.
And she was just like, oh. And like, it was so perfect with you hosting and then Joe coming up.
Joe did. Yeah.
And like to see her react to that already.
Yeah.
And then to go, oh wait, and my son is going to be doing the big set.
Right.
What's he going to do? Oh.
Right.
You know, so it was really awesome. And she had been at one show in Asheville.
Oh, she had. Is that when the whole family came?
Yeah. Oh, that was so much fun, dude. Because I was able to do jokes about the people I wrote those jokes about. They're right there in front of me, and like they know. And so, like, to see that nostalgia come across their face, and they're like, "Oh, that," you know, And people are coming up to them after the show. Like, people are coming up to my mother and my nephews and cousins and nieces and that kind of thing, and they're like, "Is that true?" And they're like, "Yeah, about 84% of it's true."
Right,
you know,
right?
And
that's a pretty good ratio, honestly. Yeah, that's probably more than is true in my.
It's like I try to keep it true to a point because it's easier to be honest. You know, like when you start making stuff up, you have to keep track of it.
Yeah.
And like, it's one thing to write a bit and it be, you know, completely made up.
I was going to say, I'm kind of all or nothing. I've got a couple bits that are absolute horse shit start to finish.
Same.
Everything else is 100% true.
Yeah.
It's weird to mix it.
I have two bits that are absolute horse shit. And I won't tell you which ones.
Okay. All right. No, but every time I hear you, I'm going to be like, which one is it?
Yeah. But I only have two.
Right.
Out of all the shit I've written, you know, where there is nothing based in it. I mean, like one of them was just a writing challenge between me and John Murphy.
Sure.
So
I love him too.
Yeah. But like if you can keep track of it and the Reservoir Dogs. Okay. Reservoir Dogs, the commode story. Yeah. You know, devil's in the details, and you got to remember this, and you got to remember that, and you got to do it over and over and over. It's so much easier to just tell the truth.
It is. And not only is it easier, I think it feels, they smell that shit. When you're bullshitting, they smell it. Not all crowds. Some crowds are hammered and they don't even know where they're at. But like a true comedy show and a true crowd, like these Don't Tell shows that I produce where it's like, and I say this all the time, but if you, see a flyer or see a post or see a social thing, you take the time to go to the website, put your email in, create a sign in, buy the ticket, get the email, find out where the venue is, show up on time, get a seat.
Yeah.
You want to be there. I think that's one thing that really separates Don't Tell from more conventional clubs and venues is nobody really sees us by accident. I mean, there's a couple instances where maybe we've got the show set up and it's right before showtime and somebody walks past a bay window, like at the Generalist, which is a great venue we do. If they walk past and see the neon and see 50 people in there, they're like, oh shit, what's going on? Can we get tickets? Rarely does that happen. Normally it's like, if you're there, you want to be there or you're coming back again. And so they're kind of game for whatever. But I mean, in your case, do you find like doing stuff like that in front of your mom and family, is that more fun, less fun? Like compare that to a stranger crowd. I think it's harder. I personally, I've hosted some shows and done time. Like my mom comes to a lot of shows. That's not really a problem. But one show in particular, we had super low sales. I think we had about 20 in the crowd and I had to do 10. The headliner insisted that I do my spot because I was trying to drop, and he's a real asshole. I love him to death, but he knew I didn't want to do it. And he goes, "I'm not going up unless you're going up." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I'd feel a lot better if you did." That's what he said. I'd feel a lot better if you did. And I was like, he knows that I want to impress. I do whatever he says. So I was like, fuck. So I did it, and it wound up being fine. But doing 10 minutes in front of 20 people, 10 of which are my relatives, in this intimate venue is hell on earth. For me,
when I've done it though, it's already like the family members that have come. They are like, it's my sister who's, you know, she's a firecracker. She's awesome. Yeah. And then my oldest sister who is just does not give a flying fuck. I mean, she's just
so they're kind
gangster.
of the perfect people to come to a comedy show.
And then like my nieces and nephews, they're all really close to my age, and we've grown up together and stuff. So like I said before, you know, when I talk about them, they know I'm talking about them, and they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
So your mom may be the only one then it's a little different.
And it was only that like first couple of times, you know, and I was like, look, you know, Mom, this is what I'm going to talk about.
Right.
And like, I love you. I respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying if you don't want to come in, I understand.
Right.
And she was like, no, I want to see you do this. I want to see, you've been making people laugh a long time. I want to see you do this.
Right.
So like my mom's just awesome. She's very supportive, and you know, for a lady in her very soon to be, dear God, 77, you know?
Yeah. Upper 70s.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to her then for even not only being supportive of this endeavor for you, but to be so open-minded about it. And,
like without her, I probably wouldn't be, you know, as open-minded as I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
well, you also at that same headliner show had both kids there. And was that the first time?
That's the only time that's happened.
The only time. Yeah. And I remember that because you actually closed the show with them in such a cool way and stuff. Does that night stick out to you as like one of the
absolutely
big memories in stand up for you?
Yeah. Being able to, do the sets that I do, and know that both of my kids approve of them.
Right.
And not only approve of them, but they also enjoy them. And then they get to see the response of people hearing it for like the first time or whatever, you know, and then to see people their age come up and be like, I wish my dad was like you, or like, I'm so glad that your kids are, you know, who they are, and that kind of thing. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So like,
it's very special.
Yeah. So like to do those shows, and like Milo came to that first Pride show I did, and that was big, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't think that your kids are. I would be hesitant to say that they are the butt of any of your jokes, but they are definitely the subject of a lot of it. So to see, I'm sure to see that, like you said, not only do they kind of approve of like, okay, we're in Dad's comedy act, but it resonates with them and they are able to enjoy and laugh at themselves a little bit too.
Yeah.
That's super special.
I was in that town we love, and
boy, do we love.
Yeah.
Gotta love
a very, very opinionated white lady was like,
does she book all the shows in that town?
Nope.
All right. Sorry. Nope. Go ahead.
Was like, you make your kids the butt of your jokes, and that's sick. And I was like, you didn't listen to a single joke, did you? I'm the butt of the jokes. Right. My kids tolerate me. My kids are the badasses in every joke. Every
and to
story.
be fair, I'm sure she didn't listen.
And she was just like, no.
Yeah.
And then like 5 comics were like, hey, dumb bitch, get out. You know. So
well, that city that we're referencing to, and honestly, I don't want to just because of your connection there. I don't want to put them on full blast. If it was just me in here, I'd say the fucking name and I'd go down the list.
Yeah,
but
there's only one person in that city that I'm like, you know.
There's only one person in that city I give a shit about. So maybe we're on the opposite end there. There's literally only one. We already talked about him. Love you, Ryan. That narrows it down. What I wanted to say about that city is that every scene is different. Every city. And it's not always just city limits. It's not like it stops at the limits. You know what I mean? But I think that certain cities have kind of a climate or culture and atmosphere within that comedy world that leans more to certain types of humor and more to not. But I kind of buck against this idea that like that one, we'll use that random city that we'll never name that everyone knows who we're talking about. We'll use that city as an example that I've heard a lot of comics say, oh, you can't talk about a lot of stuff there. Oh, they're too sensitive there. Oh, they're too woke there. Oh, they're too that. I don't even know that that's it so much as they just don't actually know what the art is. I think that they're doing something different. When they go on stage and they give you this laundry list of their identifiers and all these traumas and all these, it's basically, here's who I am, love me. To me, that's not what stand-up is.
No.
To me.
And see, like, there's several people there I think absolutely hilarious.
Oh, there's I'm obviously kidding. There's probably 10 comics there that I love.
But at the same time, at every open mic, and it's the same at almost every big city.
Yeah.
And that's another way we're spoiled here in the Tri-Cities is like a vast majority of the people who come up and bomb or they come up and trauma dump, they don't come back.
Right.
Because it'll be crickets.
Right.
You know, whereas in other cities, somebody will come up and just word vomit for 4 minutes and people will still be like, yes, your truth.
Now,
you know,
I don't have any problems voicing this either. I feel very strongly that we are fastly steaming towards that as far as our local scene. And I myself don't feel that way or support that, but a lot of people do. And for that reason, I've found myself almost sort of an outcast in my own home.
Backyard.
Right. In this weird way. And that I'm kind of like, yeah, but where are the jokes? You know, that's one thing that Ryan said when I did his podcast, which was so much fun to do. And that's one of the things he said is like, he's like, I'm kind of the old white guy here in that sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's all great. And I don't even mind you sharing all of that. I'm glad that you do. And it's awesome to be so vulnerable. Where are the jokes? We're at a comedy open mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of my whole thing lately too. And I think having that conversation with him, he articulated it a lot better than I could.
But at the same time, you know, like you go to Austin, it's all shock comedy, you know?
Oh, right. I don't want that either.
You know, so like you just keep doing you, go wherever you want to go.
That's all I can do.
You know, and that's all any of us can do.
Yeah.
And if the people that are, you know, trauma dumping and everything, they get booked or other people find them funny, awesome. It's like there are a lot of people that I like and
there are
respect
lanes for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that I like and respect and I think they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
Terrible comics.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's most of the people you encounter instead of actually.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that not only do I feel comfortable being so vocal about it, but because I am so opinionated on that idea is that I'm not just a comic, I'm also a booker. And so a lot of these people were mentioning or alluding to, will approach me as a booker and go, how do I get on your show? And I go, well, first you should probably start doing comedy at some point. And they're like, I've been doing it 3 years. I'm like, no. Start doing comedy. What you're doing is something different. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not belittling you for, and I don't say this to their face, obviously, because I'm not that guy, but there is a certain level of honesty as a booker that I have to go, you know what I mean? Like my shows are comedy shows. When you pay the money, see the email, find the venue, all that shit for Don't Tell. I want to make sure that you don't leave that night going, that was not worth all the trouble.
Right.
And I feel as though if I have 5 comics in a row who just get up there and go, here's how I identify, here's some trauma about me, here's what I talked to my therapist about, good night. They're not coming back to another show. You know, I also have this vested interest in the show itself. Yeah. As an entity.
And that was actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about. Like, you know, it's one thing to be like, hey, this is who I am. Mm-hmm. And like,
that's what you do.
As an introduction, this is who I am.
That's what you do. That's what I do. That's what every comic does. That's very important.
But when it takes up the vast majority of your set, you know, and
where are the jokes?
Yeah. And then like, as a booker, and especially, you know, booking, when you say, you know, if I have 5 people in a row doing this, and this, of course, you don't want 5 people in a row doing the same thing, period.
And I don't.
You know, you don't. So like, when you're booking and you go, okay, I know, like, you know, a shit ton of funny people.
I would say so. It's growing. Yeah. I mean, every show I try to have at least one new face. And
and you've got especially by now, you got a pretty decent bucket you can hopefully pull from. If
there's a Rolodex for sure.
And at the same time where you have to go, oh, there's too much of this. There's too much of that. And I think you talked about it a little bit with Ryan as well. Like, you know, there are people in other scenes and stuff that would probably do okay.
Sure.
In
maybe
the
even
Tri-Cities or, you know, but it's getting them on those lineups and having this and this, you know, like
the right fit.
That mix.
Yeah. And a lot of that's dictated on the headliner too, you know, because in my case with our show, the budget is not excessive. And so a lot of these headliners are kind of, I don't want to say doing me a favor by doing the show. They're not doing me a favor. They're getting paid well, and it's typically a good crowd. And I put a lot of work into making it worth their time. You know, I do the photos and all these different things. But part of me making that show worth the headliner's time is I want to create a lineup that sets them up so that by the time they're on stage, it's not only been a very diverse and mixed show with different styles that aren't just theirs. And I've made mistakes with that too, but that it's funny enough to where
they're coming into a hot audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And part of that too that you kind of mentioned is like people from other scenes that I would love to have on. There's one or two guys in particular in a scene very nearby who I like and respect, and I think that they are both at the level where it's about time for me to give them a shot. You know, they're fairly new into comedy, but they're at the level where I go, okay, yeah, it's about time. The problem is they're both straight white dudes with pretty, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to belittle their style because it's my style too. A very, I don't know a word that doesn't sound degrading. I'm not trying to be degrading by saying this. The style that these two guys offer, I have 10 other comedians who offer the same style, and they've either done my show, are local, or maybe both. And so it's hard for me as a producer to go, well, I want to pay someone who could do the same thing and possibly not as good more to drive from further away. Yeah. See what I'm saying? There's all these weird elements to it where it's like, I'm not booking you because you're not good enough. Sometimes that's not why I'm not booking you. Sometimes it's just you don't fit this lineup. Yep. And especially with it being the summertime and we're reeling things back, you know, I don't have as many spots to give out. So it's like, you know, you, Travis, I just had Meredith and Jared both on this last show. They haven't been on a show of mine in like 6 or 8 months. Yep. It's not because I don't love them and they don't deserve it. It's because I've had to get other folks in. It can't be the same people on every show.
Well, that, and you don't want the same people on every show.
I don't want.
You know, I mean, and that's why.
Except Travis. Travis can be on every show.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And not me. So fuck you. Your inheritance is spent. I will spend your inheritance at the casino tonight.
The only reason I say that
is I will die penniless just so you get nothing.
The only reason I say Travis is because he's the only person at my shows that the crowd freaks the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's, he's gonna hate that I'm even talking about this too, but like the level of success that he's found from the hard work we were talking about in the online presence and stuff really translates locally first. I mean, I think locally.
Oh yeah.
He's recognized.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quite Elvis, but he definitely like, I'll have couples at Don't Tells when Trav's on, and I'll hear the crowd as I'm setting up, and Trav walks in, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'll hear the crowd go, "Oh, he's on this one. He's on this one." They're coming sometimes in hopes that he's a part of it, that he's there, and also he's done enough spots on our show to where he is kind of a part of it. You know, there really is no Don't Tell Tri-Cities without Travis and you and Jared and Meredith and all these faces that people know and they love. And I think especially when we're seeing kind of that new class move into Blue Ridge and other venues like we mentioned, which is great and is natural and is how it's supposed to go. I kind of like that I do have a space for some old fan favorites to still show up. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. That's also important to me as a booker. So almost everything you've asked me about today, I feel like I am so conflicted on because I'm a comic and I'm a booker, and sometimes they don't agree.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sure that your dream lineup as a comic is 100% different from your dream lineup as a booker.
Absolutely.
You know,
and as a, like a comrade too. Like I would love to just have every show is just you, me, Travis, Jared, and Meredith. We're just going out there hammering it to them, but I can't do that.
Right. I can't. And like, that's like, I was talking to Meredith, you know, about like how often are you doing shows in the Tri-Cities? And it's like, well, you know, as much as I would love to just stay booked, that's the goal. At the same time, if I'm doing, you know, 6 shows in the Tri-Cities in the next 3 months, most of the people in the Tri-Cities will have seen my act. You know,
that's true.
And so like, that's like, I'm
also those spots are for other folks that maybe can't get the opportunities out of town that you or I can.
Right.
I kind of factor that in sometimes too, where I go, I could probably pop into Blue Ridge or do whatever, and you know, locally, or maybe message this guy and get a spot in Kingsport or whatever it is. But there is a part of me too that's like, I'm not above those shows. I don't think that at all. I would love to do any of those spots, but there is a part of me too that goes, well, when I was 3 months in, I would have loved to have a spot on a show opening and bombing for 5 minutes. So let one of these new guys who's figuring it out, let them go figure it out. That's important too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Don't Tell is not the place for that.
No.
And a lot of comics don't understand that.
And also like, unless I'm in a like new scene or new city kind of thing, if I do less than 10 minutes, I feel a little bit like
slided.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm like,
they just don't know you.
Exactly. So like if I'm in a new scene or whatever, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever.
Right.
But if I'm around here and somebody comes up and is like, hey, can you come do 5 minutes? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's like, well, I start to look at it as days of the week too, because there's only so many Friday, Saturdays in a month. And I'm trying to hit as many good quality audiences as I can so that I can test myself and grow as a comedian. So if I agree to go down to this show and do 5 minutes locally on a Friday, I could have been in another city doing 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, but for a brand new crowd and a brand new scene to possibly a better audience or more pay.
And probably getting a better, at the very least, a better video or
maybe,
something like that.
Maybe. Or at least getting to try it on a new crowd that's never heard it and get an authentic, that's the other thing with doing local shows too. And Trav and I were just talking about this the other night, is like, we're both kind of at a point, much like you said, that because we've been around for a number of years now and been doing shows locally, anybody who supports comedy locally, you see a lot of the same faces and a lot of them know your shit. So sometimes I'll go up and do what in another city would be my greatest hits 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it bombs. There's a certain level of confidence that it was very hard for me to grow. That is, oh no, I know that shit's good. Just because you guys didn't laugh. Maybe it's the night, maybe I fucked up, and maybe it is me, but the jokes are good because they work elsewhere.
Right.
That took a long time.
I think a lot of it, though, like with this particular scene. So like take Gatlinburg. Okay. Gatlinburg is going to be a different crowd every night. Because
tourists.
It's tourists.
Yeah.
Asheville, tourists. It is not often.
And freaks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, certain ones, God, I love them.
I know. I love it. I love the city. Like, I really do.
But there's so many opportunities in Asheville that like you could do a gig. It might be an open mic. It's probably booked.
Right.
But you could do one damn near every night of the week.
Right.
And I mean, that's crazy. And you would see a different crowd every night of the week. Yeah. So like,
well, it's so foreign to what we have here.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the people that are coming to comedy here in the Tri-Cities,
God bless
like
them.
you said, they are fans of comedy. So like they come to Blue Ridge, they come to Don't Tells, they are on all of the newsletters and shit like that, but Travis, me, Meredith, Jared, they've seen us.
Right.
And they've seen us probably multiple times.
Some of them are okay with that though, too. Some of them, that's why they come.
I do like it when I see somebody elbow somebody and go, oh, this bit. Like that's really cool. Yeah,
it's a little different than like, we're tired of your shit. That's almost more like, like they always just said about Dice, where it's like he'd do the nursery rhymes and the crowd would chant them with him.
Yeah.
That's a different feeling than, oh, we've heard this shit before. Like, that's a little bit different.
But that's also not the norm.
No.
It's oh, he's doing this shit again.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm going to flip your question back to you and then we'll close this thing out. But I'm curious, in 5 years, well, real quick sidebar, make this one quick. Do you see yourself producing at all? Mm-mm. Okay. All right.
No,
I didn't think so.
And it did not go well.
Okay. I didn't think it's a lot. I wouldn't do it if I didn't I feel that I have to. But in 5 years as a comedian, what are some of your goals or what are some of your ideas for
I would like to be a regular headliner or at the very least a touring feature, with
a bigger name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the big ones.
Do you have any, like strategy for how to get there as far as like breaking into either scenes or clubs or just interacting with headliners?
It's the stuff that I'm terrible at, sending those emails, sending those videos out. Like
me too.
I mean, like I've got two really big goals for the next couple of years. And one is the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. One's the casino. Like if I can get into either of those at any point and like
the casino is tough to crack. Because they have kind of their own structure and their own red tape that you get.
They do, but they also have their own talent scouts and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so, I know him.
Like,
I've talked to him.
But like it is, like you said, it's a tough nut to crack. And then
Same with the Paramount locally too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And not next year, but the year after, going back to Vegas, and I want to be on a show in Vegas, whether it's, hole in the wall bar or whatever.
That's probably, I don't know much about the Vegas scene. I've been to Vegas before I started, but Brad Garrett has a club there, doesn't he? Still,
a bunch of them have, yeah.
Brad Garrett has a club there. I think Jimmy Kimmel does too. The only thing I really know about that scene is there's a lot of mics and not a lot of shows that are accessible because they get such big headliners.
Right. Yeah.
There's such a gap. So for that, would it be just like you want to hit some mics early in the week and then try to network through that?
Yeah.
That's probably a good approach.
I will be sending out videos and stuff like that, 6 months before I take that trip.
Yeah.
Plus doing the open mics and all that stuff. So,
I'm pretty sure I maybe need to look. Brad Garrett used to have a club out there.
I think Joe Coy still has one.
Does he? Okay. Yeah. So my friend was with me when I was in Vegas, and he went to Brad Garrett's club, and I can't remember the name of it. Is it a Funny Bone maybe? He went there and said that it was a fantastic show at the time. But this was 2021, so I'm not sure if he still does comedy club in Vegas. So this is last year, but as of last year, yes, he still had the club.
Yep.
It actually moved. Okay, so Brad Garrett, for anyone listening, is the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. He played Robert. But I have heard mixed things about his club. I have heard that he often does time there. And by often, I mean every show. And some people feel a certain way about that. Myself, I'm like, I do time on my show every time. So if you're doing all the work, you got to get something out of it.
If I was, trying to keep a business running, and that was, I could give myself 5 to 8 minutes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I say do whatever. So apparently it's moved to the MGM Grand to the lounge, which is awesome. Hell yeah. Good for him, dude. But yeah, so something like Vegas is a cool goal because I think there's a lot more opportunity there, but you don't really have the option to fully relocate, right? It's not something you're interested in.
In 10 years I will be fully retired.
Yeah.
So in 10 years I can get in an RV and do whatever the hell I want.
What about cruise liner comedy? Nope. Does that interest you at all?
Nope.
You know what's funny? I've been thinking about it.
Dude, I would if you have the opportunity to do it.
Every comic listening to this is going to hear that and go, "What a fucking idiot!" But I feel like there's a lot to learn on that boat about myself and about comedy and about the grit and the dark side of the business.
Well,
I'm not scared of that.
Patrick Flannery, Sean. Why do I keep trying to say Sean Patrick Flannery, but it's Sean Finnerty. One of the first comics I saw and got to open for at Blue Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Irish dude, very, very funny. And he does a lot of cruises.
Oh, really?
And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, if I can book a cruise, I book a cruise. You know, that's money.
I just see it as I'm not above it.
Oh yeah,
I'm not above
he was
much.
Like it's money, it's working clean and working blue
right
at the same time. Like you've got a clean show at 7 o'clock, you got a blue show at 9.
Very important.
So and you work every night.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to keep your material fresh. You can work in a couple of new jokes every single night, one way or the other. Try them blue, try them clean.
Yeah.
It's a very good opportunity, and they pay well. And it's just I'm never getting on a boat. Yeah,
do you have a radius that you will try? Like right now, let's say, forget the 5 years thing. Right now, is there a radius of either miles or time driving that it's like I'll do a show? You know what I mean?
Depending on
Raleigh, is Raleigh too far for you?
No, okay. I'd go to Raleigh. I'd go to Nashville.
Yeah, that's me too. About 5-6 hours is kind of my radius.
About 5-6 hours.
Unless you're paying me enough to where it warrants more. But I'll lose money on a 6 hour radius.
Oh yeah, I went down to Panama City, and I love Panama City.
Talk about that, yeah.
So I will go down there anytime he lets me.
Yeah,
Jason Hedden, Panama City Comedy. Check them out, please, because they are amazing. He delivers a great product with a bunch of different comics every single week.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. Is there anything you want to plug? Do you have any dates coming up? What do you got?
Dude, I'm doing Jeep Invasion
Jeep Invasion
in Gatlinburg, the 21st and 22nd. So this will probably already be out, or this will probably not be out by then. But
I think that's the week it comes out. Yeah. Actually, the week before.
I don't know how that's going to go. It's an outside venue, and it's Jeeps everywhere. So
have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I will not be sober.
Have fun. That checks out. What about socials? Is there anywhere that folks can follow you?
At PRUETT comedy.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's about it. And it's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
The E to the double T.
Yeah. Welcome to the ETT, bitches.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude, I can't wait to see more episodes of this, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
so
thanks. It's more work than it's paying off to me, but we talked about that forever. That's
100 hours
who
for
I
10
am.
seconds.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But no, thanks for coming. Seriously.
Thanks for having me,
because I'm having a weird mix, it's always it's almost comforting to have like a comic in here. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, if you're ever called
it's
more
a lot
often.
easier. Yeah. It's a lot easier. All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Love you, dude.
Bye, folks. Bye.
See you.